So we'll also be starting another new show that we'll be watching, that I'll be reviewing, Supernatural, Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot. So the series starts off in 1983, where we see a young Dean, his baby brother Sean, his mom and his mom Mary and his dad, and they're all hanging out, and they're all like, when the mom thinks she hears Sean crying, but then when she thinks that it's the dad doing something, but it's not. But then when dad discovers that his wife is actually killed by something in a ring of fire, so he takes the Sean Dean and gets out of there. So then we see Sean, 22 years later, we see Sean with his girlfriend Jessica, or as the original joke was going to be, Lindsay Harrison from Smallville, and her friend, and he's talking about, going to college and acing that interview, but one night he's discovered by his brother Dean, played by Jason Eccles, who played Jason Teague on Smallville. Wow, 2 Smallville alums in this season. And Jared Padalecki, who plays Sean, now plays Cordell Walker on Walker. So, yeah, interesting. So, yeah. So, yeah, and as Damon on Vampire Diaries played Adam Knight, Lex's one episode half brother Lucas is Stefan is played Lex's one episode half brother Lucas Luthor. So anyway, back to this show. I just had to mention that. So he's called by the fact. So he's like, hey, Dean, you haven't visited him in like 2 years. Basically on this show. I think the show takes place. I think the show's timeline is in 2005, just like it's when it aired. So yeah. So he's like, so he convinces his girlfriend that hey, he'll just be back for the interview the next day, but so yeah, so the Dean's like, bro, their dad's gone missing, and they need to stop. But we also see that there's a woman in white, a dead person who takes unfaithful men and kills them. So yeah, so they're like, hey, let's focus on this. Let's team up together. And he's like, bro, like, I cannot do this. Like, dude, stop. So yeah, so we learned that. So they learned that the woman was named Constance, and she killed her kids and basically killed herself. And because she killed her kids and then killed herself because her husband was being unfaithful to her. So she basically kills other unfaithful people. That's basically the first episode villain, and a person who kills unfaithful people because her husband was unfaithful, that drove her to kill herself and her kids. So that's kind of dark. I know the show went on for like 15 seasons, but that's a dark premise for the very first episode. So Sean, is it Sean or Sean? When Sean basically goes to talk to the dad, and he's like, hey, she would never do that. She would never kill the kids. So you better get out of here with that nonsense. So yeah. So basically he's like, since Sean never knew his mom, he's like, hey, he has to look at a picture to himself for what she looks like because he never got to know her, and then she's never come back. And Sean and Dean's like, hold up, don't talk about their mom like that. And yeah, so basically, so they go and defeat and so they go and Dean's like that. Well, Dean's caught by the police. Sean is caught by the woman in white, and he tries to say about he's loyal, about he's faithful, and she's like, about he's faithful, and he's like, well, you're about not to be in, but then Dean is shooting her, we see her true face. So they basically trick her into going to her old house where her dead kids basically just show up and take her away or something. And yeah. So then he's like, hey, maybe that was a fun adventure. So yeah, but then Sean comes to see his girlfriend dead in the same way that his mom was. So, and then he's like, hey, what's the next adventure? Ending the first episode of Supernatural. So, wow, what a dark but pretty interesting episode. We learned the first monster that the guys had. It's about an unfaithful woman who learned that her husband was unfaithful, so she killed her kids and killed herself, and now is killing other people, other unfaithful people. That's basically the premise of the first episode of Supernatural. And wow, I cannot believe that this show went on for 15 seasons. 15 before finally ending. I will be watching those 15 seasons because I wouldn't just stop this. And I'll also be checking out Doctor Who. That review will be after this. Will be before this one. And I thought the Doctor Who episode was pretty good. And I think this first episode of Supernatural is dark, but it's pretty interesting. So I guess I'll see you next time on some more Supernatural. Wow.